Here's looking at Euclid. Today we're going to consider the next several definitions in Euclid. Definitions 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And they have to do with angles. So definition 8 is the definition of a plane angle. And the way Euclid states that definition is the following. It's an inclination to one another of two lines in a plane which meet one another but do not lie in a straight line. And that's where he differs from modern geometry. So again, it's an inclination of two lines. So if you have two lines, like these sticks here that represent the lines, and if you look at the inclination is kind of a bending away and a bending toward one another, right? That's what you mean by an angle, right? It's that inclination of those two lines. Now, if you have straight lines, like these sticks represent straight lines, then the next definition, which is definition 9, is the definition of a rectilinear angle, right? So it's the inclination of two straight lines to one another, right? That meet one another and then do not lie in a straight line, but are inclined away and towards one another. So that would be called a straight or a rectilinear angle. That's definition 9. Definition 10 is a definition of a right angle. We're going to head to the beach for that definition, so that's going to be exciting. And then definition 11 is the definition of an obtuse angle, which is an angle which is greater than a right angle. And then definition 12 is the definition of an acute angle, which is an angle which is less than a right angle. So it's important to understand what a right angle is. So we will head over to Naples Beach here in Naples, Florida, for a better understanding of what a right angle is and what perpendicular lines are. So that's what we have today. Here's looking at Euclid. We will see you over at the beach.
Euclid, here's definition 10 of Euclid, which is a definition for a right angle and a definition of perpendicularity, what it means to be perpendicular. So Euclid doesn't define a right angle by a measure. Today in modern geometry, the definition of a right angle is an angle whose measure is 90 degrees. So with Euclid, it's again a pure geometry. We're not doing any measurements, right? So we just want to define the angle as purely as possible. And here's how he does it. Come on down here with me in the sand. So he says when a straight line falls upon another straight line, and it makes the adjacent angles equal to each other, both those angles are defined to be right angles. So again, this angle, just understand adjacent just to mean angles that are next to each other for now. Right, so we have a straight line falling upon another straight line such that the adjacent angles are equal to each other. Both these angles are defined to be right angles. And this line here, this straight line, is said to be perpendicular to this straight line. They're perpendicular to one another. Again, there's no measurement involved. If you get a protractor out and you measure this angle, it'll measure to be 90 degrees. If you measure it in terms of radians, it'll be pi over 2 radians. But that's for another lecture. Right now, we're just trying to understand what it means to be a right angle. And that is the best definition of a right angle that you'll find anywhere in mathematics. And that's because of Euclid. Here's looking at Euclid.